I'm really delighted to be joined today by Natasha Black. Natasha, welcome.
Hi, Sharon. Hello, everybody.
Natasha, I know that you've been doing EFT and Matrix Reimprinting for as long as I have, I think since about 2007. Mm-hmm. So I just want to start off by asking you, could you share a little bit about your journey and how Matrix Reimprinting and EFT have changed your life?
I could talk about this all day long. I love it. So I was introduced to the law of attraction through the book The Secret. I read that book. It literally transformed my life through reading it. That led me to find a law of attraction course, which taught me EFT. It taught me the very basics of EFT, but I loved it. I went off and found a practitioner course, got on that straight away, and EFT contributed to my life radically transforming. So if you can imagine me as an emotional roller coaster, short, sharp highs, long, deep lows, I would often sit in a place of sadness, quite deep sadness. I was in chronic pain, didn't actually quite realise that at the time, but I would take 4 Panadol at a time, several times a day. I felt quite lost, and although the one thing that was going right in my life was my partner, who is now my husband, I hated my job. I didn't know what job I could do other than the sales job that I was in. I was in this daily chronic pain, and I just felt very unhappy, unfulfilled, and extremely unsuccessful. So through EFT, without trying to work on the chronic pain, I was actually just working on the past memories, past traumas, and within 6 months, my life radically transformed. It transformed so much that literally one day I woke up, got out of bed, and I knew that I had to quit my job and start teaching this stuff. So I did. That day I handed in my notice, and I had all my hair cut off. I had it cut off into a bob. I got rid of all my black, brown, dark navy trouser suits and heels. I cleaned out my wardrobe. I started wearing pinks and purples, colours I'd never worn in my life. And I literally felt like I had been reborn. So I started, I was living in Brussels at the time, and I started putting some posts out in some expatriate groups, just asking for volunteers to come and experience EFT. I then started to put on workshops, really calling in people who were experiencing physical pain, who weren't happy, and I'd put on maybe 4 or 5 different workshops each month, and people would just come and I would teach them EFT, and it was like fireworks were going off, and unicorns were dancing all over the place. It was just absolutely incredible. So people were coming to me as volunteers, and I started to work with somebody who had OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and the original trainers that I worked with, I contacted them and asked them if they could give me some support and some advice, which they did. But I had this inkling that there was like I termed it inner child work. And this is how I expressed it to my trainers at the time. I said, I feel like I need to do some like inner child work. And they said, well, Carl Dawson has just come out with something called Matrix Reimprinting. And at our next supervision day, we will share with you the hour-long recording. And I watched it and I was just like, yes, this is it. It was like what I had imagined in my head was now shown to me. But I couldn't have. I needed to have that awareness and understanding through Carl, because I only had an inkling of what I needed to do, and it was amazing. So I just started using what I had learned. And then later on, I trained with Carl in my level 3. And then I brought Carl over to Brussels, Belgium, to do his EFT training and Matrix Reimprinting training. And I know so many lives were transformed, not just by the people who came to the training, but for the people that I worked with, but also for myself. My Matrix Reimprinting journey has been incredible. It's been absolutely pivotal in me healing post-traumatic stress disorder after the murder of my dad. And also your work, Sharon. I mean, I remember watching you at that level 3 training, and you said it was your first talk about matrix birth reimprinting. And at that time, I had no intention of having children. Children were not on my radar. It's like anytime that, and this is a true story, anytime that I saw a car seat in a car, I would freeze. Like, it'd just be like, oh my God, I don't ever let me have a child. But what I learned from you was phenomenal. The things that you were teaching, and the things that really stick out for me were the things like, you said your body knows what to do. Your body and your baby know exactly what to do, and everything about the birth experience is also perfectly set up for the mother and the baby, and how the umbilical cord is exactly the perfect length for the baby to do the crawl to the breast and to be breastfed. So the cord, rather than having it cut off, and that you let it pulsate, all those things. And I was just like, my eyes were wide open. I was like, we're incredible, aren't we? Our bodies are incredible. The way that we function is incredible. And it just, between you and Carl and everything that you taught me, you then were pivotal in both of the births of my children, actually, and helping me with my own birth. Because my father wasn't present at the birth, so you really helped me to connect that piece up. And then the birth of my first daughter, the home birth didn't quite go to plan, and I had some, a couple of traumatic experiences there that you helped me with, which then finally led to me having my little boy at home in the birth pool. No gas, no air, the most beautiful and delightful experience. And yes, of course, I felt it all. But it was just incredible, because I was actually one of those people that completely feared childbirth. I was in fear of childbirth because of everything that we've been taught, because of the social conditioning. So yeah, between you and Carl, you've been absolutely pivotal in my personal healing, in my growth, in my work, in my personal work in the world as well. Because I know that I haven't just greatly benefited, because I've worked with, tons of people.
Hundreds and thousands, I would say.
with all of this work, it's just incredible, and I'm just so grateful to both of you. Really, really grateful to both of you. You're incredible.
Beautiful. If people are drawn to learning more about what it is that you do, how would they find you?
So you can connect with me on Facebook. So just look for Natasha Black on Facebook. I have a business page and I have my personal page. So connect with me on both of those places. And also, if you go to soulsanctuary.net, you can get some more information there as well. So that's soulsanctuary.net.
Beautiful. So thank you, Natasha, on behalf of myself, for talking about Matrix Birth Reimprinting, but also on behalf of Carl Dawson for your contribution and your loving support of Matrix Reimprinting and all that it goes with it. So thank you, Natasha.
Yeah, you're so welcome.